Good morning and welcome to Morning Joe. It is Thursday, July 3rd, and you are looking at live pictures from the floor of the House of Representatives, where congressional Republicans are now pushing toward a final vote on President Trump's sweeping domestic policy bill. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries there speaking what's known as a magic minute, where leadership can speak essentially for as long as it wants to, much longer than a minute, of course. When he finishes, the House will proceed to the final vote on the so-called Big Beautiful Bill. Speaker Mike Johnson, with the big assists from President Trump overnight, got to this point when, after an all-night session, the chamber voted 219 to 213 to adopt a rule governing debate on the legislation. That opens up discussion and then tees up this coming final vote on the package. A group of hardline conservatives and moderate Republicans had combined forces earlier in the evening to stall the bill, raising their protests. And Speaker Johnson held the vote open for 5 hours as he worked to garner support. Around 1 o'clock in the morning, President Trump called those holdouts directly, then fired off a handful of social media posts calling for Republicans to get the legislation passed. Democrats have continued to rally against this bill, with some Republicans who flipped to yes votes after some persuasion defending their positions. Congressman Derek Van Orden of Wisconsin pushed back at a suggestion Republicans will do whatever Trump asks of them.
Am I happy about everything? No. But there's a difference between compromise and capitulation. We're not capitulating. We're compromising. The President of the United States didn't give us an assignment. It's not a bunch of little Okay, I'm a member of Congress. I represent almost 800,000 Wisconsinites. Is that clear?
Some tough talk from the congressman there. Let's bring in the host of Way Too Early, Ali Vitale, NBC News congressional correspondent Julie Surkin, and MSNBC political analyst Brendan Buck. He was communications strategist and former aide to House Speakers Paul Ryan and John Boehner. Good morning to you all. Brendan, I want to start with you because of your experience with Paul Ryan and with Boehner, the two speakers of the House, and just about what happened overnight, how this sort of negotiation goes. You didn't generally have a president with the sway, let's say, of Donald Trump to call directly these members and say, vote for my package or else, despite some of the protests we heard, at least from one congressman there. That's basically what happened. So describe a little bit about what was happening overnight that brought us to this moment where we're expected now Republicans will have the votes to pass this big bill.
Yeah, well, obviously, Mike Johnson had a big hill to climb yesterday. After the Senate did what they did, you had a lot of members, particularly both sides of the conference. You had moderates who didn't like what the Senate had done in terms of cutting more deeply into Medicaid, and you had a lot of conservatives who said this is still just too expensive, and I'm not going to vote for it. And that all melted away really quickly, but not quite enough where they had the votes at the time they needed it last night. There was a key procedural vote that basically sets the terms for debate last night, and they rolled the dice, and it was a bit of a gambit by Mike Johnson to say, look, we don't have the votes right now, we're close, but we're going to go for it. And you do that every once in a while in the Speaker's office. You say, we're short, but we're going to use the pressure of the floor to try to break some members. Of course, having Donald Trump to help break them as well is useful. They kept the vote open for a really long time overnight, and eventually Donald Trump, I guess, made enough assurances that he was going to instill some fiscal responsibility going forward. That was enough for some of these conservatives. I don't know what the promises were. I don't know how realistic they are. At this point, when they realize that this is going to pass some way or another, you kind of have members who want to be lied to a little bit. Tell me what I need to hear to be okay with this, and ultimately, after a long, painful night, they did that. And so it seems like they're on a glide path now. But some credit to Mike Johnson for basically saying, we're going to use this July 4th deadline. Nobody thinks we're going to be able to pull this off, but I am going to insist on it. We're going to put this on the floor and we're going to pass it. Having Donald Trump, again, hanging over your shoulder makes that a little easier to do. But I think credit to him for believing that this could be done and forging ahead when people doubted him.
And so, Julie Surkin, that vote was left open, as I mentioned, for 5 hours by Speaker Johnson, which means during those 5 hours, he's twisting arms. Donald Trump is getting involved. Vice President Vance is making phone calls to his friends on the Hill and trying to get some of those members of the Freedom Caucus, some of those moderates who have misgivings about this big package, to come along to their side. And they did that. But here's the thing. The substance of the bill didn't change. So what did overnight for those members who flipped from no's to yes?
The reality that if they voted against this bill, they would face President Trump's hammer, essentially, and the power that comes with him. The message that we kept hearing all day long from Republican leadership was, I wouldn't want to be the member that stands in front of Donald Trump and the 77 million people that voted for him. And obviously, as we've been following all year long, as we followed in the first administration, but this has just increased this time around, his pressure is real, and it has worked. And it is working now with a group of Republicans in the House who have sworn up and down that they would never vote to increase the deficit, that they would never vote to raise the debt ceiling, that they would never vote for a bill that doesn't cut spending by $2 trillion. None of that is happening with this piece of legislation. I think Brendan is exactly right. Mike Johnson does deserve a tremendous amount of credit for essentially telling us months ago, we're going to get this through, setting that arbitrary deadline of July 4th, keeping the pressure on, and of course, starting this whole thing out by saying it's going to be one big, beautiful bill and not two like the Senate had wanted to address some of the concerns at the border and other items. And instead, they managed to get a bill that the Senate had changed, that it had at the last minute essentially weakened and softened some of the Medicaid provisions, including that rural hospital fund that, of course, cut even more of what this bill was able to save. And they made some changes on the clean energy tax credits. The Senate kind of played this beautifully as well, with Leader Thune essentially making this bill a little bit more conservative at first and then watering it down to try and get those moderates like Lisa Murkowski on board. Ultimately, in the end, the House Freedom Caucus here folding on this issue, I think, is a big marker of what's to come for the rest of the year and the lack of leverage that they will probably have moving forward in this process.
And Minority Leader Jeffries is talking right now about some of that hypocrisy that you just described on the debt. Let's listen in.
Tax breaks. It had been my hope, Mr. Speaker, that we'd be able to have a robust debate, passionate support or passionate opposition in connection with this bill, that hundreds of members on both sides of the aisle could participate in. Instead, we have a limited debate where the relevant committees of jurisdiction have been given 15 minutes each on a bill of such significant magnitude as it relates to the health, the safety, and the well-being of the American people. And because that debate was so limited, I feel the obligation, Mr. Speaker, to stand on this House floor and take my sweet time to tell the stories of the American people. And that's exactly what I intend to do. Take my sweet time on behalf of the American people, on behalf of their health care, on behalf of their Medicaid, on behalf of their nutritional assistance, on behalf of veterans, on behalf of farmers, on behalf of children, on behalf of seniors, on behalf of people with disabilities, on behalf of small businesses, on behalf of every single American. I'm on this House floor after 6 a.m. and I'm planning to take my sweet time. Without Medicaid, I wouldn't have made it. If I lost Medicaid, it would completely change my life. It would also severely affect my husband with epilepsy. Without Medicaid, he wouldn't be able to afford his seizure medications, which means he'd have seizures every week, like he did before. This would leave him unable to function or work, Before he had Medicaid, he'd have a seizure. And it would take him days to recover. His health is inconsistent, which makes it hard for him to hold down a job. I still have my house, my car, my husband, and my health. Thank God for that. But why should we have to struggle so hard just to live? In a country with so much wealth, I'm considered one of the lucky ones. And yet I still struggle to make ends meet for the basics. That's Maria, pouring her heart out to us as members of Congress about her struggles. She lives in Iowa's 1st Congressional District.
So that is Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries sharing personal anecdotes from voters about the potential impact of this bill if it does pass as expected a short time from now once the full vote is opened up. Ali Vitale, Minority Leader Jeffries saying, "I will take my sweet time," as he stands there to rousing applause from his Democratic colleagues, talking about what's in this bill and what will happen in this country as a result of its passage today.